to talk a little bit about some economic issues here, primarily related to the way economic trust, citizenship, and economic systems really work. Okay, there's a lot of people on several different sides of the spectrum who have a distrust of the current economic system in the United States. And there's a lot of reasons for it. A lot of it has to do with acclaimed hatred for the bankers, who usually are like the command level officers in the banking system. There are a lot of decision makers on whose businesses, whose activities get funded, and whose don't. And in a lot of respects, the person in front of them across from the table isn't necessarily the person whose activity they're funding. For example, I used to work in automotive finance. I used to arrange car loans for people. And I was maybe not that good at it, but I recognized how the business worked. And a lot of it had to do with personal stuff. It was just a matter of, do they like you? Do they like the sound of your voice on a phone? Do they emotionally connect with what you're trying to accomplish? And if they don't emotionally connect with it, you're not going to get the approvals. In 2008, of course, they clamped down on credit in general. Do I take it personally? Of course I do. Because I know there were other people who were working in the same basic line of work that were getting their loans approved. And do I think maybe it was all like, because my name was attached to paperwork or the dealership I was at was designated that it was supposed to go out of business? In some respects, I have to think maybe to some degree some of that was going on, because after I was fired from that dealership, and they went through all this reorganization stuff at Chrysler, they blamed me for a bunch of stuff. And I said, listen, I'm doing the paperwork the same way we've always done the paperwork. I'm treating customers the same way it's always worked. For my income to go down, and of course the dealership's income to go down, I was like, this isn't me. So of course they blamed me and fired me. A little while later, they, as part of the whole Obama rescuing of Chrysler and all that stuff, they got their franchise yanked. And it's, they were on somebody's shit list. Now, I would also note that the owner of that particular dealership was a friend of Lars Larson. And, people would say it's not political, fighting or whatever, but, if you're helping pay Lars Larson's bills and you're a friend of a conservative talk show guy who's probably on the Democrat shit list, certain things are going to go down a certain way. And it wasn't my fault those loans weren't getting approved. A lot of people were having issues, but it also shows how social, political, economic control can take place in any financial system. The other thing is it happens is, of course, are they going to tell you the truth that, hey, by the way, you or your business or something's been politically shit listed and it really doesn't matter what the solvency is to a degree? Of course they're not going to fucking tell you. But here's where you do get to know. And we talk about a depression economy where you can still succeed. I was just watching another guy's video. He's talking and making a response to George Furtado about how these guys in the Depression used to get together, a plumber, carpenter, electrician, a concrete guy, and they'd get together in a group and they'd build one guy's house, and they'd get together and build another guy's house, get together and build another guy's house. There used to be a guy who would sit in this particular spot in my kitchen and make his videos while I was helping him build his house, a little mobile camper. Same guy decided I didn't deserve to own my tools, and the rest was history. I also noticed that these people, there's certain people that want to circulate on the edges of alternative or lifestyles, communities, things like that. Want to talk about debt-free, home-free, whatever, having a little alternative thing. Okay, they are running their own thing, okay, and they're supported their own way by their own people. But I would talk to my people. There is no such thing as having any sort of economy or be it participating with anybody that's going to be obligation-free, okay? And if you're dealing with somebody who doesn't want to address obligations in exchange with people, they don't want to address any obligation, they just want to receive and not be obligated, then that's a problem, okay? They're already not a citizen of the current economic system, which is capable of being very generous to a lot of people. Now, whether or not decision makers in that economic system are are willing to be generous to people. Whether or not your loans, your financing, whether or not you're being told that you're the sucker who's being told to buy the bad stocks, or the insider who's being told to buy the good stocks. And don't forget, you talk about the brokerage houses, these people hire experts whose job is, here's a list of names, these are the people you're going to call today, and you're going to talk these people into buying this stock. Here's another list of names, you're going to call these people today, and you're going to tell them to sell this stock. And by the way, they're all losing their asses right now, but you got to call them, get them to trust you, get them to buy this and sell that. And let me tell you something, if you're the schmuck who's on that call center telling these people to buy this, sell that, you get a commission on getting them to buy this or sell that. Their wealth profile is going down, but they're going to hire people who can psychologically connect with people to say buy this, sell that, and you get a commission based on how much you can manipulate these people into trusting you. I mean, that's basically your investment counselor, stockbroker guy, okay? Is he going to show numbers and graphs and saying, here's the people that got involved in this deal, that deal, and that deal and did well? Believe it or not, they won't even respond to people who show those types of numbers or show those types of results on things as much as they'll respond to somebody who's emotionally able to compel them. It's interesting because I had an occasion to meet a guy by the name of Steve Commissar years ago. I can do a link to his channel. He's a famous con artist. And he was capable of getting people to sign off and buy the stupidest shit, but he could get it done. He realized that the investment houses and the investment world and what really motivated people to make investments and things was so emotionally driven and so false that he just started cutting out the middleman and calling the same customers and the same people and getting them to invest in things that simply didn't exist, except, of course, hookers and trips to the racetrack for him. He ended up doing prison time for it, which is interesting because just like Gordon Gekko and these guys in the movies, Wall Street Never Sleeps, that kind of stuff. Gordon Gekko gets out in Wall Street Never Sleeps. It says, hey, listen, everything we went to prison for at one time is now legal. And you have to realize that. But here's the thing. There's going to be a certain point when somebody's made certain investments in certain things, and they want to talk to Patriot Talk, or they want to talk to Sovereign Citizen Talk, and they claim they're going to make an investment, or they say they want to make an investment. And you got people who want to be the recipients of something. Oh yeah, somebody build me a house, help me do this, help me do that. Oh yeah, well I'll help too. Well, I'll say you helped me. And they don't want to pound nails for anybody. They don't want to put screws in wood, pound nails, dig holes, put concrete in, bring the money in, get shit built. Whether they're at the bottom of the social economic food chain like Alex Ansari, or at the top of it like other people I'm apparently not supposed to be mentioning right now. Participation in this thing, if you think that it's debt-free, it's not. Okay? It simply means that you're going to be willing to have commitments and obligations and exchange and velocity of economy with a different group of people. So if somebody has done well with the banking system, with the current system, and they're doing that, and that's great. But just like Pastor Joe Fox says, a lot of other people say, hey, this is about what you're bringing to the table. If you say, if you've done well in this thing, but you say, hey, it's time for me to be involved in the sovereign economy or this other thing or something like that, and all you're bringing to the table is yourself and saying, okay, how can I receive more than I give here? Well, then that's a problem. And that's not really participation. Just because you decided to become lazy and not work anymore, and you see this thing and you say, okay, I see all these people living in tin shacks and motorhomes, and it's easy and it's lazy and it's personally gratifying to not need to work and not have debt, and I can live off a little bit of rice every day and run around on YouTube and say hi to people and say I'm not going to work anymore. Okay, well then there's a problem, Because if you're not going to work, you're not going to engage in economy with people, you're not going to get along that well in any survival community, any place where people are actually doing stuff. Because if you're receiving, you got to give back. You got to do something for people that's actually going to make a difference. This is not going to ever work for anybody. And just because they were able to mooch off the major economy for a while, and now they want to mooch off the survivalist economy by saying, well, by saying the right things. And then this guy, I'm being told of another situation where there's a guy where some people from the survivalist communities have gone, they've helped them out, they've helped out their family, done a lot of stuff for him, because this guy would own some land, that they were saying, hey, listen, we want to do a retreat here. These people are doing a lot for him, and it's appreciated, it's loved. Okay, well, emotion is a non-tangible, okay? But just because, and then when somebody says, by the way, let's have an agreement, let's have a contract, let's have something on paper that says we're a team now, we're together, here's what we've done for you, here's what we need from you, and here's what we know everybody's capable of producing. We've proven our side of the issue. And then this person wants to emotionally shut down. It's still manipulation. It's still the me first attitude. It's the still first, I want to be given to something, but I don't want to owe anybody. All right, nothing is debt free. Okay, when Jesus gave the story of the people, the talents, the master's leaving town, he gives somebody something, and he says, the first guy, he's given a few gold coins or something, he goes out, he gets an economy and makes a little bit of money, and then he comes back and he says, here's what I'm going to give you. Another guy gives a few gold coins, he makes money but not as much as the first guy, goes, well, I'm going to give you less. The other guy says, well, I buried it, but here it is back. He goes, oh, fuck you, we're going to put you down. It was actually kind of cruel when you look at it. This was somebody who was given a lot, buried it, and comes back and says, yeah, here's your 3 gold coins back. I stashed them for you. And Jesus says, no, man, that don't work. Actually, it's much more cruel than that. Okay, if you think Jesus just forgave the guy and gave him another 3 coins, no, it doesn't work that way, man. You need to read it. There's a lot of misconceptions in these things. Now, what about the guy who said, I went out and I partied it up. Sorry, dude, give me another 3 coins. Well, a lot of people talk about the parable of the prodigal son, like the guy who says, I come back and I'm real sorry. Okay, that's where some of these manipulative people get that. But if the guy comes back and says, no, I didn't produce anything for you, but I did a good job, give me a reward too. Okay, that's where Jesus got kind of ruthless about that stuff. Don't think, it's not straight up mob at the supernatural level too. So understand that when somebody is wanting to, they're happy about receiving, they're in need, but there's not much of a give back, or there's a devaluation of what somebody's coming into. Hey, listen, in the Depression era income, nobody says, okay, you all help build my house, but I ain't got time to go and help anyone build theirs. Oh, you don't have time. Why? You making more money? You got something going on? You're not working with... Oh, I'm just too depressed, I can't do nothing. Well, then there's a problem, okay? And this is where we have to look at certain situations as maybe temporary for the need to survive, and versus, okay, these are the quality of people that we can make a deal with. And what gets ugly about that is those are many of the same decisions a banker makes, okay? Everybody can get a $500 credit line. Everybody can get that Grameen Bank style, right? We'll talk about that in another video. Anybody can get a Grameen Bank style $500 credit line. See what you do with it. Oh, you screwed up? Okay, we'll give you another $500 credit line. You can get that when you got bad credit, no credit immediately after a bankruptcy. Okay, I hope you learned some lessons. Here's another $500. Start over again. As you build up, then, some people trust you with more and more. A lot of people who are bringing their work to the table and trying to barter their work for stuff need to understand that too. If I go to work for an employer who says, well, you get paid a week after you turn in your paper and your timesheet, you get paid a week or two after that. Well, or two? What's or two mean? Oh, well, a week to 10 days. I'm like, so you're actually asking me, in my economic position right now, to provide you with a line of credit for my labor. That's what's really going on. You're asking me to provide a line of credit for my labor. What makes me trust that? What makes me think I'm going to get paid? What makes me think that's enough money to get by to keep coming to work? And those are all very valid questions. Now, when we're talking about in a cashless economy, okay, cashless economies are going to work two different ways, neither of which is really all that good. Okay, cashless economy is where the government and hostile banking and creditors can constantly count your wallet because it's electronic, or you're constantly having to barter with people. Those are the two types of cashless economies. Believe me, when somebody goes hating on you know, the Freemasons and the banking system, the creation of cash, you know, cash isn't such a bad thing, and cash can take different forms like gold and silver coins. But it's the velocity of cash that's going to make economic activity. You can't just shut it down, put it in a box. And what's amazing is this free advice that's given throughout a lot of the survivalist, prepper, patriot community is, well, buy gold, put it in a box, and don't put it anywhere. Okay, that benefits the guy who's selling gold and silver. That's who it benefits. Okay, you need economic velocity. You need people to make deals. Are we going to judge how somebody follows through on a deal? Yeah, damn straight we will. Okay, there's some people up in Washington State who decided to renege on a bunch of deals. Do we judge them? Yeah, the fuck we judge them. Okay, I'm going to judge anybody who reneges on a deal, especially when they've received something first and then they decide they ain't got the time, or they don't. Okay, man, here's the thing. We've entrusted somebody with our labor, and then they didn't pay for it, or they didn't pay for it on time. If the banking system gave me a bunch of money for a business loan, and some things that were in my control and some things weren't in my control, a lot of things not in my control, and that loan went bad and it went broke, they're not going to loan me any more money. Okay, they're not going to loan me. I'm not going to get any more $20,000 business loans. Okay, that's over. The thing is that we also need to understand that within alternative communities and societies and things like that, if you got somebody who's constantly in need and people are constantly doing shit for them, and then they're not even going to barter back, okay, or they're going to barter back at, you know, I'm going to receive at this rate, I'm going to barter back at this rate, you got to make some adult decisions on how and when you're going to do business with them. And that's just, you know, the adult decision world. There was a guy I wanted to get involved with one of the things, and I just saw a video where he's basically saying, I don't want to work and I don't want to owe anything. Okay, man. Listen, as shit hits the fan, as economic collapse grows, mooches and bums are all over the fucking place. Nobody needs them. Okay, nobody needs a mooch or a bum. Okay, productive people in kind of a barter type of situation, somebody who they do something for somebody else shows up and does something for them, that works. Unproductive, non-working, I don't want to be obligated to anybody type bums. Okay, there's two ways somebody is going to not be obligated to somebody. One, they make right on their business with them. Okay, you make right on things with people. Sometimes, you know, I understand when somebody doesn't have money. Okay, money is a tool. If I have a screwdriver but not a wrench, okay, what can I do with a screwdriver but not a wrench? If you have time on your hands, decent health, you know, these types of things, and you have you know, you're able-bodied, you have time, you do all this, but you don't have money, okay, we should be able to work with that. Okay, we can work with that. You have a willingness to do something, that's fine. You're not in good health, you're not able-bodied, but you can answer a phone, smart guy, you know, you're willing to bring this to the table and do something for somebody, that's fine. This is not a merit-based situation. It never is. Survival is not merit-based, okay? I don't give a fuck about the ribbon bar. I don't give a fuck what wars you were in. Well, okay, I do a little bit, but still, just like Joe Fox says, about what you're bringing to the table. Do we have a use for it? But if somebody's not willing to do shit for people when something's been done for them and something that's very doable, they got to be, you know, you got to have an exit plan for them or you.